May 31st, 2019. Today is 28 years, 11 months, and 5 days of sexual sobriety. That means no porn, no masturbation, no orgasm. Porn, masturbation, no orgasm together. No, I don't masturbate, I don't use porn for that long period. 28 years, 11 months, and 5 days, but who's counting? I am, and I'm darn proud of that, and that raises my self-esteem. Today we have a question from Akrim Amaraki from Tunisia. And he wants to know about some inspirational stories that would help inspire him to move forward in his recovery over there in Tunisia. I think the first story that I ever saw, that I saw in person, there was this guy I knew, and I knew him. I also don't drink alcohol, and I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 31 years. And I go to a group, the very first face-to-face 12-step group called Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've been there for 31 years. But in the front of this room, there was a guy named Eddie H. And Eddie H. was about 15 years older than me, and he had long, curly hair. And he would sit up and he would tell these stories. And he would talk about his drinking. But it wasn't just his drinking. He would talk about his girlfriend, who while he was his girlfriend now, and they were both sober, when they met, they were both drinking, married to other people, and cheating on each other, and going to orgies. And I thought, wow, that's really disgusting and kind of attractive at the same time. Isn't that strange that disgusting and attractive both feel the same, and you know, they're mixed up there, because it's a very twisted illness, sex addiction. And so he was doing some really bad stuff. You know, he was hurting his wife, she was hurting her husband, and their children. They weren't emotionally present for them. They were cheating on them with other people in random situations. And what happened is he got into AA and stopped drinking. So did she. She divorced her husband. He divorced his wife. They stopped going to orgies. They started going to therapy and started going to ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, so they could get in touch with their feelings and work on their childhood. And they had one of the best marriages. They were best relationships I'd ever seen in my life. At that point, I was in my 30s, and it was really impressive to see a man and a woman who were emotionally present, who loved each other, who had a sense of humor, who were kind, who cared about each other, who were safe with each other, who could talk about everything about their past, and they trusted each other completely with their bodies, with their minds, their thoughts, their feelings, their money, everything, their businesses. They completely trusted each other, and then they were unselfish, and they served other people. And that's what they did with their lives. Since God blessed them with recovery, they gave their lives to God through service and helped hundreds and hundreds of other people. And I was one of those people. And that really inspired me. I wanted to have that kind of relationship. This is a funny anecdote. They were together for some 20 years, and the day before he turned 70, they finally got married. And the reason was, her name was Nancy, decided she didn't want to marry a 70-year-old, so they got married the day before he turned 70. And they lived together a long time. She died about 2 years ago of cancer. It was heartbreaking. I was there at her deathbed, and I loved her very much. She was like, I never had a sister, but she was like a sister to me. And after my daughter, she was the most important female in my life in terms of positive things, until I met my current wife, who means the world to me now. Now we're soulmates and partners, and we're doing what she and Eddie did. What we do is an inspirational story that we learned from Eddie and Nancy. Is 6 times a day we get on the phone and we pray with sex addicts, people who are addicted to PMO, in 87 different countries in the world, 275 people, for 15 minutes a day. And we read readings about how to overcome that. And we create God and community. We create a community so that God shows up, no matter what religion it is, whether you're a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Sikh or a Sunni or a Catholic or a Jew, it doesn't matter. The God and community will always work, no matter what it is. And so we help create that community to serve others for free and for fun. We don't do this for money. We have expenses, but that's not the reason we do it. We do it because God flows through us through service. And we do that Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. for 15 minutes. And you can go to actwithcourage.com, actwithcourage.com, and you'll see a link that my wife put up there, and you just click on that and you can join us. Now, the reason we're making the videos is because some people simply can't afford to pay for the load, to pay for the telephone cost that it costs, or the internet data charges that it costs to be on it. Some people, it's just too expensive in the 87 countries that we serve. So we're making free videos that you can go on Facebook on NoFap Success. That's the reason we're making this video right here, so that you can go on every day, and we're going to make a video so that you have something to connect to. Because what we believe is that you can't get well by yourself. You can't get well by yourself. An addict by himself is in bad company. And if you don't think you're an addict, ask yourself this question. In the last 12 months, how many times have I tried to stop, and how many times have I failed in the last 12 months stop using porn? And if you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest, you're never going to get well. But if you're honest with yourself, that will tell you whether you're addicted. Because what we believe is that somebody who's not addicted can stop for at least a year and never have to think about it, have no problems, no cravings, no urges, no withdrawal, no nothing, no obsession. They can just say, well, I'm not going to do that, and never think about it. But if you haven't done that in the last year, if you fail once or twice or 20 or 30 times, then you're going to need some help. And that's why these videos are here. If you can afford to get online, do that. Or if in your country there's a face-to-face meeting, and you can look online, look under Sex Addicts Anonymous, or Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, Sexaholics Anonymous, Sexual Compulsives Anonymous, and those people deal with PMO, and you can go to a meeting with live people, but you can't do it by yourself. And if you need that, the only way you know is, what was my last year like? So that's an inspirational story about Nancy and Eddie that we learned and what we modeled our behavior. And now it's really working for us. You know, we've known each other 7 years now. And we finally met 2 years ago in the Philippines, 7,000 miles from here. I went over to give her a birthday party, and I stayed there 16 months. And we got a fiancé visa to come back, and we got married last October 25th. And then 2.5 months into our marriage, we got pregnant. And now, 3 months and a week from now, we're having our first baby. And so that's what can happen to you. If you want to have children, if you want to have a family, if you want to have a great loving partner, if you want to feel good about yourself, there's a way to do that so that you become the inspiring story. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much, Kareem, for the suggestion.